An Oasis-class ship from Royal Caribbean receives her CDC conditional sailing certificate and will depart tomorrow on her first voyage with paying passengers. Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, the little cruise line that could, will be assisting with Hurricane Ida relief. MSC Cruises releases new testing requirements prior to embarkation. We'll clarify some masking requirements for all the cruise lines. We'll tell the story of a family stuck quarantined in a hotel in Seattle instead of being on their dream Alaskan cruise. Carnival Glory is back in Port of New Orleans. We're going to give you the update that we promised earlier in the week. Also, we'll provide updates on Royal Caribbean's new testing policies, as well as showing you the cruise directors for the newest batch of Carnival ships to hit the seas. All that up next on Midships. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and before we get started today, I want to remind you our giveaway is live. If you would like to be entered to win this cruise outlet extender, as well as this over-the-door organizer to help you keep your cruise suite organized, all you have to do is follow the link in the description below to the giveaway video. I will also post a link in the upper right-hand corner for those of you who view on mobile. Just click the link and follow the instructions in that giveaway video. Now, I want to provide a clarification because I did sort of mess something up in that video yesterday. I said that the contest ran through Wednesday, September 7th, and lo and behold, that day does not exist. It runs through Wednesday, September 8th at noon Eastern is when the contest ends for these giveaway items. So make sure you get your entry in by Wednesday of next week. A quick reminder for you. If you missed your chance to win any of the cruise swag items from our previous giveaways, or you just can't wait to get your hands on the current giveaways products, there are Amazon affiliate links in the description below. And I'll let you in on a little secret, but you can't tell anybody. Even if you click the link and you have no intentions of buying anything, it helps the channel out a lot. And it's going to give me the ability to do even more giveaways because this channel ultimately is all about you. And it's my goal to give back with it as much as I can. Now let's get into the cruise news. We have Royal Caribbean and their Oasis of the Seas has received their CDC conditional sailing certificate. We're going to tell you about that now from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com by author Matt Hochberg. Royal Caribbean gets CDC approval for Oasis of the Seas to set sail. Cruises from the New York City area are a go to begin. As Royal Caribbean reported on Friday, it's received approval from the CDC for Oasis. Oasis of the Seas had a 6-night test cruise on August 22nd, where the crew vetted their new health protocols on board. The first revenue sailing of Oasis will commence on September 5th, that's tomorrow, from Cape Liberty in Bayonne, New Jersey. It's a 7-night itinerary to the cruise line's private island, Perfect Day at Coco Cay in the Bahamas. Oasis is the latest Royal Caribbean ship to get CDC approval to sail, which means she now has her conditional sailing certificate. In order to sail on board the ship, guests aged 12 and older must be fully vaccinated. Guests must present a negative PCR or antigen test result taken no more than 2 days prior to sailing in order to board. If you would like to know more about what venues and activities are open to vaccinated versus unvaccinated cruisers aboard Oasis of the Seas, I'll put a link in the description below to this article from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Just scroll on down and there's a wonderful comprehensive list of what venues are available to everyone on board the ship. While we're talking about Royal Caribbean, they have recently changed their pre-cruise COVID testing policies. So let's go ahead and dive into that topic now. From RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, Matt Hochberg. From RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, Matt Hochberg. Royal Caribbean will now require passengers to get a COVID test no more than 2 days before their cruise. Following an update from the US CDC last week, Royal Caribbean is adjusting its policy, beginning with sailings departing on September 13th or later. In order to meet the CDC's new requirements, Royal will now require vaccinated guests 12 and older to show a negative COVID-19 test result for a PCR or antigen test taken no more than 2 days prior to sailing in order to board the ship. Previously, this was a 3-day requirement. Unvaccinated kids aged 2 to 11 must show a negative test result for a PCR test taken no more than 3 days before boarding. Antigen tests will not be accepted. So let's go ahead and walk you through a hypothetical testing scenario for Royal Caribbean. Say your test is on Saturday. That means you have Friday and Thursday to take your test, which means you should most likely be testing on that Thursday, so you get your results Friday and take them with you to your cruise on Saturday. Now, like we've said all week, it's getting harder and harder to find these COVID tests. There's a limited number of tests available, and you need to make sure that you're on top of getting this scheduled well in advance. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, CVS is currently allowing you to schedule tests about 13 days in advance, and typically these tests are going to be covered by CVS or by your insurance provider. A lot of cruisers are getting their tests done for free through CVS and through Walgreens. Just go ahead and schedule ahead of time online. Now, we've been talking about the impacts of Hurricane Ida on the port of New Orleans, and there's actually a couple updates that we have to deliver today, and they are very good and very promising updates. So let's first begin by talking about Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, the little cruise line that could. I know a lot of the Midships family actually wasn't even aware that Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line existed until we talked about them just last week. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the cruise line, they provide 2-night itineraries, and they sail out of the Miami marketplace over to Nassau, Bahamas. It's a quick little cruise, only a couple $100, a great way to kind of dip your toes in for a short weekend cruise. So let's read a story from cruiseindustrynews.com about Bahamas Paradise Cruise Lines. Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line gets the Entergy charter for Hurricane Ida housing. Now, Entergy is the power supplier in the New Orleans market. So we showed you that map of the power outages yesterday in our Midships video, and that is from Entergy, the power provider there in the city of New Orleans. Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line will charter the Grand Classica ship to the Entergy Corporation to house frontline workers in New Orleans. The ship is expected to sail to New Orleans immediately. And we have a quote here from Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line. Today, we entered into an agreement to deploy the Grand Classica to New Orleans, where it will house 1,500 or more frontline workers as they push to restore power to the region for hundreds to thousands of people left without electricity in the wake of Hurricane Ida. Entergy is a New Orleans-based energy company supplying power to much of the affected area. Terms of this charter are not currently known, but FEMA is also expected to shortly announce a charter deal for at least one other large cruise ship. Now, Midships is expecting this other large cruise ship to be from Carnival Cruise Lines, if our sources are correct. Now, speaking of Carnival Cruise Lines, they are scheduled to be sailing out of the port of New Orleans coming up here in just a few days, and we're going to provide you an update on that cruise right now. From cruisehive.com, written by Emery Thacker, Carnival cruise ship arrives in New Orleans as city recovers after Hurricane Ida. With the port of New Orleans reopening after Hurricane Ida last week, Carnival Glory has been allowed to make her way through the Mississippi River and dock at the cruise terminal in downtown New Orleans. It comes after the ship remained safely away from her home port due to the impacts of the hurricane. Yesterday, Port Nola posted, effective September 1st, the captain of the port has set port conditions to normal. Vessel movement and cargo operations are authorized now with restrictions. Hurricane Ida approached the city on August 29th as a Category 4 hurricane and caused widespread flooding with heavy rainfall and powerful winds. Ida also caused widespread power outages with over 1 million homes and businesses without power. Carnival Cruise Line canceled the ship's first return voyage out of New Orleans as the city was still under emergency management, and the channel leading up to the cruise terminal had remained closed. Carnival Glory was supposed to depart on September 5th on a 7-day Bahamas cruise. So like we had previously reported, that cruise that was slated to leave tomorrow to the Bahamas aboard the Glory was canceled, unfortunately, but we have good news, and let's go ahead and talk about that now. So to make up for the canceled cruise, Carnival offered vaccinated guests an option to transfer to the Carnival Vista sailing out of Port of Galveston on September 4th. That cruise is a 7-day Western Caribbean voyage. Now, with New Orleans getting back on track towards normal operation, it looks like Carnival Glory's cruise for September 12th will go ahead as planned, We already know that the ship is undergoing Coast Guard tests, as confirmed by the Carnival Cruise Line brand. The ship will take on supplies and prepare for guest operations for September 12th. That's awesome news coming out of the port of New Orleans. It looks like Cajun cruising is getting back on track. Now, last night I received an email from MSC Cruises, whom I have a cruise scheduled to depart with in about 26 days. And they told me that there are new pre-cruise testing requirements that I have to follow to board that ship. Now, if you're following along, you already kind of have an idea of what those pre-cruise testing requirements might be. In an article from Emery Thacker of cruisehive.com, MSC Cruises updates protocols for U.S. departures. On September 3rd, MSC updated their protocols for U.S. operations, which includes departures for 3 vessels out of Florida. With authorities in the Bahamas requiring all cruise ship guests 12 and older to be vaccinated, the cruise line is now following this to make sure cruises can continue in the region. Guests have to show proof they were vaccinated for at least 14 days before their sailing. This requirement will remain in place until November 1st of 2021 and applies to all ships out of all ports. In late August, the US CDC made adjustments to the conditional sailing order. The biggest change was a testing requirement. Now, for all MSC departures from the US, beginning September 3rd through September 12th, guests have to take a pre-cruise COVID test no more than 3 days before arriving at the cruise terminal. However, this pre-cruise testing requirement will change on September 13th. To allow for testing only 2 days prior to embarkation. Now, MSC has been really good about notifying me of all the changes in testing requirements and vaccination requirements for my sailing. So if you're booked with the line, go ahead and check your email or maybe check into your cruise planner because you probably have a notice there as well about these changes. Next, we're going to tell you about a family from Louisville, Kentucky, who scheduled their dream Alaskan cruise, only to be turned away at the port and sent into a quarantine hotel. From WLKY.com, written by Jennifer Baileys. Fully vaccinated Louisville family quarantined after pre-cruise positive COVID test. In Seattle, a family of 4 from Louisville had their vacation dreams cut short as a positive COVID test forced them into quarantine despite being fully vaccinated. For several years now, the Woolridge family had dreamed of planning an Alaskan cruise. The family was all fully vaccinated and had no symptoms, but one of them tested positive during a pre-cruise boarding test. They were shocked and had to quarantine more than 2,000 miles from home. And we have a quote from Ginny Woolridge. She is the mother of the family. And this is a photo of Brad and Ginny, just to give you some context. So Ginny said, "We had scheduled an Alaskan cruise 3 years ago and finally got it planned for last year. And last year that cruise got canceled because of COVID. However, 2021 rolled around and they were finally able to reschedule. Brad and Jenny were set to sail on board Norwegian Encore on August 28th. They flew to Seattle along with their 2 sons, Braden and Braxton, where they met up with other family and friends who were also going on the trip. Brad and their 2 sons tested negative, but Jenny's test result came back positive for COVID. And Jenny said, "I was very upset and crying and apologizing, and I can't believe this happened. And the first thing Brad said to me was like, it's okay, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. We'll make it work, and we're just going to make the best of it." The rest of their family and friends tested negative and boarded the ship, but Brad, Jenny, and their 2 boys were sent to a hotel room to quarantine. "I had no idea that I had COVID," Jenny said. "No idea I'd been exposed to surrounding people that had it, or even having the vaccine, you don't expect that you're going to come down with it." A few days after testing positive, Jenny lost her sense of taste and smell. But Brad and the boys continued to test negative. They're passing their time by working out, doing homework, and playing a lot of card games. It's not exactly the family vacation they planned, but they are making the most of the time they have together. Brad says there's a lot of people facing way worse things. So we're together, we're happy. Jenny will be healthy in a couple days. Just make the best of it, you know. We can't change this situation. You take what comes at you and you keep moving forward. So this story ends on a positive note. Ginny is recovering. They'll be able to fly home soon. And to top it all off, Norwegian Cruise Lines is allowing the Woolridges to reschedule their cruise for their October break. So they will hopefully get to experience the beauty of an Alaska cruise. We wish you guys the best of health. We have just a couple more things to touch on today, and one of them is a nice resource for you if you're confused on your cruise line's masking policy. I'm just going to show you this website. It will be linked in the description below. You can go ahead and click it and browse it on your own time. While you're down there, if you absolutely love cruising, why don't you smash that like button? It helps this channel out so very much. And if you haven't yet, why aren't you a subscriber of the Midships channel? We upload every day new content related to cruising. So from cruiseindustrynews.com, here are the face mask policies amongst major cruise lines. And so the link in the description will take you to this page, and you can see all of the masking policies for Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, MSCs, Princess, Celebrity, Holland America, and so on. Now, this is a really great resource. Obviously, there's no better resource than going directly to your cruise line's website, but a lot of times those websites can be quite confusing. So Cruise Industry News is a very trusted source. And as of September 3rd, I feel confident in saying that these are the masking policies for the cruise lines. Now, don't forget, policies change, things evolve quickly, as we've learned during COVID. So be sure you're subscribed to this channel, because I do bring you up-to-date information as it breaks. Now let's round out today's cruise news with a look at the new Carnival cruise directors that will be hopping on the new ships starting up later this year. So from cruisehive.com's Emery's Thacker, Carnival Cruise Line announces cruise directors for 7 more cruise ships. And I know cruise directors on Carnival can make or break your cruise. So this is a great time for you to look and see if you notice any of these cruise directors from a cruise past. And this article is actually going to let you know which ships these directors are on. So maybe you absolutely loved Dion Williams on your last Carnival cruise. And here you go. Here's Dion. He's going to be on the Carnival Dream, which is restarting in just a couple of weeks out of Galveston, Texas. So go ahead, scan over this list. If you notice any of these faces from a prior cruise, this is a great resource for you to hop back on a ship with that cruise director. In the near future, I'm launching a website for Midships, as well as we're going to start focusing on our Facebook page. So if you haven't yet navigated to the Midships Facebook page, it's a great time to go there. It's just facebook.com/Midships. Go ahead and join the group there. We would love to see some of your pictures or your videos from your past cruises, or maybe you're on a cruise right now and you'd love to share a picture of a beautiful sail away sunset, or maybe your dinner from the steakhouse. We'd love to see and hear from you about what's going on. A quick reminder, Midships is going to be on the road next week in Las Vegas. I'm there all week working on my main business. If you don't know, I am a small business owner. I founded a company that provides architectural and marketing services to the commercial real estate industry. So I'll be working out in Vegas for the next couple of days. We're going to try to keep our episodes on schedule though. You just won't see this set in the background. You may see a fabulous view of the Las Vegas Strip though. I'm going to try to broadcast from some more interesting locations, because I know if you love cruising, chances are you probably love travel. So why not show off the sights and sounds from a world famous vacation spot? So that's going to do it for today. If you made it this far, thank you so very much. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and get subscribed to the channel. Until next time, we'll see you on the Midships.